Okay, so we have already studied about this chapter light. Let's revise whatever we have done. Okay, now here we have studied about the laws of reflection of light. Here this is the plane mirror mm dash. We consider a point O called as the point of incidence. This is the ray of light incident on the mirror, incident at the point of incidence. So this ray of light AO is called as the incident ray and OB is called as the reflected ray. At this point we draw one perpendicular which is called as the normal. Now according to the laws of reflection, the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. The first law states that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. Angle of incidence is formed between the incident ray and the normal, and the angle of reflection is formed between the reflected ray and the normal. Whereas the second law states that all these three rays, the incident ray, the normal and the reflected ray, all three lie on the same plane. That is, they can be drawn on the same surface. Okay, so all the three rays lie on the same plane. Next we have studied the properties of the images formed by the plane mirror. The first property is that this image which is formed is virtual and errant. Virtual images are those in which the reflected rays do not actually meet. They appear to meet at a point. Such images are called as the virtual images, and virtual images are always errant. The mirror which you are using at home or the plane is the plane mirror. So when you see yourself, you see your image to be errant. So the image formed by a plane mirror is virtual and errant. The second point is this image which is formed is as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. That is, the image distance is equal to the object distance. The image is formed as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. Then the third point is that this image is laterally inverted. The image is laterally inverted. Now what do you mean by lateral inversion? Lateral inversion, if you stand in front of the plane mirror and raise your right hand, you will see that the image will raise its left hand. Such an image is called as laterally inverted. So the image formed by the plane mirror is laterally inverted. Okay, also this image as we have studied is virtual and errant. Okay, it is formed as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. It is laterally inverted. The next is size of the image. The size of the image is the same size as that of the object. When you stand in front of the mirror, you see that the image is of the same size as that of object. Okay, now before the holidays, we have also studied about spherical mirrors. This we are doing only the revision part. Spherical mirrors. The mirrors which are a part of a sphere, they are called as the spherical mirrors. So spherical mirrors are those in which the reflecting surface is a part of a sphere. Here, if the reflecting surface is inverse, then such a mirror is called as a concave mirror. And if the reflecting surface is outwards, such a mirror is called as a convex mirror. So, spherical mirrors are those which are a part of a sphere, that is, the reflecting surface is a part of a sphere, they are cut from a sphere. Reflecting surface inwards, concave mirror, reflecting surface outwards, that is, such a mirror is called as a convex mirror. Now some terms related to these spherical mirrors. The first one is the pole, which is represented by capital P. The center point of the spherical surface. The midpoint of the spherical surface, which is lying on the surface of the mirror. This midpoint, which is lying on the surface of the mirror, we call it as pole. So this point, the center point of the mirror, we call it as pole, and it is represented by capital P. Next is center of curvature. Center of curvature is the center of the sphere. of which this mirror is a part. This mirror is a part of a sphere. So the center of the sphere of which this mirror is a part, we call it as center of curvature. So if we complete the sphere, it has some center. This center we call it as center of curvature. Next is principal axis. The straight line which is joining P to C. This straight line which is joining the pole to the center of the curvature, okay, and it is extended. This we call it as this is called as principal axis. Okay, then the next point is, the next term which we will discuss is principal focus. Principal focus, it is if a parallel beam of incident rays, is falling on the mirror, then these are the parallel incident rays which are falling on the mirror, which are striking the mirror. Then after reflection, in case of a concave mirror, they actually meet at a point. On the principal axis, whereas in case of a convex mirror, they appear to meet at a point on the principal axis, and this point is called as the principal focus. So all these incident rays, after reflection, the reflected rays will meet at a point. This point is called as the principal focus. Okay, whereas in this case, they will be reflected, and when they are extended, they appear to meet at a point. They appear as if they are diverging from a point. So these are the actual reflected rays. They are diverging away from each other. They are moving apart from each other. If they are extended backwards, they appear to meet at a point on the principal axis, and this point we call it as the principal focus. So how we define it? A parallel beam of incident rays after reflection either actually meets at a point on the principal axis like in concave mirror, or appears to meet at a point on the principal axis in case of a convex mirror. This point P, which is lying on the principal axis, we call it as the principal focus. Okay, now here, the distance between pole to the focus. This distance we call it as focal length. The distance between the pole to the focus is called as the focal length, and it is seen that the focal length is half of the radius of curvature. What is radius of curvature? The distance from P to C. The radius of the sphere of which the mirror is a part, we call it as radius of curvature. So here we see that focal length is half of the radius of curvature. Okay, or you may say the radius of curvature is double the focal length. So these are few terms which you have to remember. Okay, then is also one more term, aperture. Aperture is the effective diameter of the mirror. Let's draw this figure. The effective diameter of the mirror, we call it as aperture. This M to M dash. This effective diameter, we call it as aperture of the mirror. So M dash, we call it as aperture of the mirror. So the effective diameter, we call it as aperture. Okay, next is we'll study about the image formation by a concave mirror. So before studying that, there are some rules which have to be remembered for the image formation. The first rule. So some rules here we are studying. The first rule is a ray of light which is parallel to the principal axis. Any ray of light which is parallel to the principal axis, it passes through the principal focus. A ray of light parallel to the principal axis passes through the principal focus in case of a concave mirror. Whereas in case of a convex mirror, a ray of light which is parallel to the principal axis is reflected back and it appears to pass through the focus. It appears to pass through the focus. So the first rule is a ray of light parallel to the principal axis passes through the focus in case of a concave mirror, or appears to pass through the focus in case of a convex mirror. Now the second rule is a ray of light which is passing through the principal focus. Any ray of light which is passing through the principal focus, in case of a concave mirror, it becomes parallel to the principal axis. Whereas, in case of a convex mirror, a ray of light which is appearing to pass through the focus. Okay, as the focus is behind the mirror. So, a ray of light which is appearing to pass through the focus will become parallel to the principal axis. So, the reflected ray becomes parallel to the principal axis. So, the second rule is a ray of light passing through the principal focus or appearing to pass through the principal focus becomes parallel to the principal axis. Now, the third rule is a ray of light passing through the center of curvature or appearing to pass through the center of curvature. Any ray of light which is passing through the center of curvature. The third rule focuses the midpoint of P and C. So, any ray of light which is passing through the center of curvature will be reflected back along the same path. Whereas, in case of a convex mirror, the center of curvature is behind the mirror. So, any ray of light which is appearing to pass through the center of curvature, this is the incident ray, will be reflected back along the same path. Will be reflected back. That is, the incident ray is the same and the reflected ray is also the same. So, any ray of light which is passing through the center of curvature or appearing to pass through the center of curvature will be reflected back along the same path. Then the fourth rule is any ray of light which is oblique to the principal axis at pole. Oblique means making some angle with the principal axis. It will be reflected back in such a manner that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. A ray of light, an incident ray which is oblique to the principal axis, after reflection will be reflected in such a manner that the angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection. The same in case of a convex mirror. This is a ray of light which is oblique to the principal axis will be reflected in such a manner that the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So these are the four rules which you have to remember. The first rule, let's revise it. The first rule is any ray of light which is parallel to the principal axis actually passes through the principal focus in case of a concave mirror or appears to pass through the focus in case of a convex mirror. The second rule is a ray of light passing through the principal focus. After reflection, it becomes parallel to the principal axis in case of a concave mirror, or any ray of light which is appearing to pass through the principal focus in case of a convex mirror will become parallel to the principal axis. Then the third rule states that a ray of light which is passing through the center of curvature or appearing to pass through the center of curvature will be reflected back along the same path. Then the fourth rule states that any ray of light which is oblique to the principal axis, that is making some angle with the principal axis at the pole, it will be reflected back in such a manner that the angle of incidence will be equal to the angle of reflection. Now here we will study the image formation by a concave mirror when the object is placed at different object positions. The object will place it at different object positions and we'll see how is the image formed. Okay, now the first position of the object. The first position of the object is object very far away. Very far away means like you can consider to be the sun. The sun is at infinity. So the first position, this is the concave mirror. We are discussing for concave mirror. object at infinity. Object is very far away, like the sun. That is, you may consider it to be at infinity. Okay, now when the object is at infinity, or you may consider it to be the sun, when the rays are reaching the earth, they are parallel to each other. So let's draw the concave mirror. This is the principal axis, pole. Focus should be the midpoint of P and C. The rays of light are parallel to each other. The incident rays are parallel to each other. Why? Because the object is very far away, like the sun you can consider. So the rays which are coming out parallel to each other, and these rays we can consider are also parallel to the principal axis. Okay, now according to the rule, we know that these rays will pass through the principal focus. These rays will pass through the principal focus. Now here we have to discuss 3 points about the image formation. The first one is nature of the image. If the reflected rays are actually meeting, the image is real image, and real images are always inverted. So how is the nature of the image? It is real and inverted. Then the second point will discuss about the position of the image. Where is the image formed? The position of the image. Here we see that all the rays are meeting, all the reflected rays are meeting at focus. So where is the image formed? Image is formed at focus. Then the third point will discuss about the size of the image. The size of the image. Here the size of the image is a point size image. You can consider the object to be the sun, quite big, and here the image is the bright spot of the sun. So it is a point size image. The image is point size. Then we are bringing the object closer to the mirror. So the next position of the object will be beyond center of curvature. So object beyond center of curvature. We'll place the object beyond center of curvature. So principal axis, again we will draw in such a manner that X should be the midpoint of P and C. Now the object could be seen over here. Let it is a needle shaped object. This is the object, needle shaped object. Now a number of incident rays could be drawn from this object, but here we will draw only 2 incident rays, will reflect them, and wherever the reflected rays meet, there the image will be formed. Okay, the first incident ray let us consider, which is parallel from the object we are drawing. Let the first incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, and after reflection it passes through the focus. The second ray, either you can pass it through the principal focus, which will become parallel to the principal axis after reflection, or you can pass it through the center of curvature, which will be reflected back along the same path. So let us pass it through the center of curvature, and we know that the reflected ray is also the same. It will be reflected back along the same path. So this is one of the reflected ray, this is the other reflected ray, and the 2 reflected rays are meeting at this point. So the image is formed wherever the reflected rays meet. Okay, again the 3 points we have to discuss. The first is nature of the image. Here also we see that the reflected rays are actually meeting at a point. So the image is real and inverted. Whenever the reflected rays actually meet, the image is real. And here in the figure also you can see that the image is upside down. So the image is inverted. It is formed below the principal axis. Now the second point is position of the image. From the figure, you use a scale and then draw it. You will see that the image is formed between F and C. So the position of the image is between principal focus and center of curvature. So the image is formed between focus and center of curvature. Then the third point is the size of the image. Okay, draw it with the help of a scale and measure its length. You will see that the size of the image is smaller than that of object. The size of the image is smaller than that of object. That is, the image is diminished image. Now, smaller image we can call it as diminished image. Okay, so here the image is diminished image. Now the third position of the object we will discuss. We are bringing the object closer. So the next position of the object will be at center of curvature. So the next object position, object at center of curvature. Object at center of curvature. Let us place the object at center of curvature. Concave mirror. This straight line we call it as principal axis, and we have to draw in such a manner that F should be the midpoint of P and C. Okay, so F is the midpoint of P and C. Now let us place the object at center of curvature. Okay, this is the needle shaped object which is placed at center of curvature. Now again we will draw two incident rays. Let the first ray is parallel to the principal axis, and we know that after reflection it passes to the principal focus. The second ray we can pass it to the principal focus, which will become parallel to the principal axis after reflection. So the second ray is passing to the principal focus, and after reflection it becomes parallel to the principal axis. So these are the two reflected rays. So wherever the reflected rays meet each other, they are the images formed. So here we see that the image is formed at the same point, that is at the center of curvature. So 3 points about the image. The first one is the nature of the image. Nature, whether the rays are actually meeting or appearing to meet. Here we see that the rays are actually meeting at a point. So the image is real, and the real images are always inverted. Here in the figure also you can see that the image is upside down, so it is an inverted image. So the image formed is real and inverted. The second point, the position of the image. From the figure you can see that the image is formed at the same point where the object is placed. That is, the image is formed at center of curvature. Object placed at center of curvature, and the image is also formed at center of curvature. Now the third point, the size of the image. Use a scale and then draw it, and then measure the length of the image and the length of the object. You will see that they both are of the same size. That is, the image is of the same size as that of the object. Same size as that of object. That is, the object size and the image size both are equal. Okay. So these are the 3 points when the object is placed at center of curvature. Okay, so the next 3 object positions we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, so all these things you'll draw it in your copy, you'll draw it in your fair notebook. Okay, and write all the terms related to the spherical mirrors as we have discussed. Okay, before the holidays also it was given. If you haven't completed that work, again complete it. Okay, so till the third position of the object we have done. 3 more positions of the objects are there that we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, and then we'll proceed with the convex mirror. How is the image formed by a convex mirror? Thank you.